So what is the thickness of the frame as far as the aluminum framed doors that we build? How far off the fiberglass?
That's about a 16th.
It's a 16th.
Yeah.
And
for the medium extrusion frame, it's about a 16th.
Gotcha. And that is obviously quite a bit less than half inch, right? Which is
For
typically
sure.
what this Starboard frame is. When people call and ask questions about these doors, is that a lot of times the biggest driving factor? Is the distance off, or is it more the acrylic and the gloss?
I'd say or even the mounting style.
It's always a combination of them, but a lot of it is aesthetics, and a lot of people don't want things standing proud off the mounting surface just because it doesn't look as clean, doesn't look as flush. So this is definitely the best thing that we offer for a higher end finish.
Right.
And the nice thing is you get it done very easily on the website with an acrylic door. And so you get a high polished powder coated frame, high polished, glossy acrylic door. It looks really nice up against your glossy waxed, gel coat, and it's a very clean installation.
It's a more difficult installation.
It's definitely a more difficult installation. These frames, which I'm not sure if you can see on the camera here, but they have inside mounting holes inside the frame. So you have to have at least a half inch of, bulkhead thickness in order to install them. Now
so they screw through here.
Correct.
Right. Versus Starboard, you're coming through here. So you set it in place.
Right.
And you're screwing right into fiberglass on Starboard. Whereas this, you might not even have the thickness of,
fiberglass built up. You'd have to do some type of build-up strip or something to screw into.
Right. And we've had customers use Starboard or PVC or something around the inside of their opening to build that up and mount this way. The reason why it has to be mounted through here is this frame overlay is only half an inch. So if you move a screw halfway in, you're a quarter of an inch from the edge. You can't really countersink that because the screw head might get into the edge of the frame. And then you're too close to your cutout. If your cutout isn't perfect,
you're going to blow the holes out.
The screw may blow the hole out. Exactly. So, can you work around that in a pinch? Yes, you could probably use a machine screw and a washer to sandwich the fiberglass. It's not something that anyone's really going to see once it's installed, unless this is going into a console with a head that, someone's going to see from the inside. But 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. So the reason these are only offered with inside mounting holes is because that overlay is so much smaller than on the Starboard frames, which is 7/8 overlay.
Do customers ask for trim rings on these often?
We've had it happen. I wouldn't say it's often.
Yeah. Seems like that would be beneficial to be able to slide the trim ring on the inside, fasten through the face. So what you have to do is set that trim ring inside your cutout, screw through and countersink to mount that trim ring from the front, right?
Kind of. There's a couple different ways to do it. That's one of the options.
How else would you do it?
You could use PVC and adhere it to the inside wall.
So I think with a lot of those, you're seeing those on like a lot of the console doors rather than an access door like this, right? Because you're inside of a head and you're looking out and you can actually see where it's trimmed out around without that PVC ring inside the console. I think with a lot of the access doors, people aren't requesting those simply for the fact that it might be access to a bilge or an area that interior, you're not looking out at that.
Yeah. I'm talking about what you screw into versus not what you trim the back out there. So the result though is that once it's set into place, you have no fasteners, right?
Right. It's a very
beautiful.
Nice, clean installation.
Yeah, so the advantage of this would be from an aesthetic standpoint, it's going to sit less proud than a poly door. It's going to match the sheen of the gel coat. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than a poly door.
For sure.
With that poly door, we've done some things where, again, this is sitting a 1/16 of an inch proud. The poly door generally sits 1/2 of an inch proud, and that would be what you would order off of the website for a build your own. But there's special cases where we've actually milled that poly down so it sits a little bit less proud. That's probably not a cost savings because there's a lot more mill time that's required from the router at that point, right?
Yes. Yeah, there's definitely more mill time. You have to cut the frame from the back. And
the reason people would want to go to that is the advantage of a poly door is that it's just more durable. Right?
It is definitely more durable. It's more utilitarian for sure. Don't get me wrong, it's a very nice door, but from an aesthetic standpoint, this is going to outweigh it. The other challenge that you're going to face, though, is a poly door is going to fit into a square corner cutout where this one is not, right? This
That's
is
a good
only
point.
going to fit into a radius corner cutout. I think this one's like an inch and an eighth.
So specifically, if you measured an existing square corner cutout
Mhm.
and you ordered this door, you would set it into place, right? And you would
See points of the
see
corner.
points of the corner right here.
Correct.
So if you had an existing cutout, what you would have to do is you'd have to increase the size of that cutout and add
Mhm.
radiuses to the corners for this to be able to set in.
Right.
Yeah. So that exacerbates, and it's it's not an undoable thing. Well, we have tons of customers that do it. I
Definitely
don't want to scare
happens.
people away,
Yeah.
but
It's
if
just
your goal is I want to be able to buy this door, set it in the thing, screw it on, then the Starboard is definitely your option. If you're more like, no, this is my baby and I'm going to make it
Right.
really, really, really high.
It's just another layer of challenge to the install. It's definitely not prohibitive. It's just one more step in the process.
Totally.
Yeah, with the powder coating, you're seeing a lot of the builders now do the powder coating to all of their T-tops, et cetera.
Mhm.
Still yet to be seen how well that holds up over the years. There's people specifically on some of those boat forums that are like, I want the anodized aluminum, I don't want the powder coating.
Mhm.
They're kind of ordering a special order boat to
Mhm.
get that anodized aluminum. I think that's something that as we talk about these doors that people to consider, that the powder coat can crack over time. We do a
Mhm.
really good job vetting the powder coating that we use, and they hold up well in the field. But I think it's something interesting to make sure people know as well, is that if you've got a door that still looks really, really good, but the frame's not, we have the frames available for people as well.
Yeah. We do sell replacement frames. Absolutely. And those frames, they should get you, 7+ years or hopefully 10 years. But yeah, like you say, saltwater is real tough on powder coat in general.